Hello and welcome to Salford Now at 4:30. I'm Sophie Rumsby.
And I'm Nicole Tompkins. Coming up on today's programme, how the Salford Drug Rehab Centre provides support for those struggling with drug abuse.
See, last time I was in that, I thought I was ready, you see. I wasn't. When I look back, I wasn't ready. The hard part is staying clean, maintaining it, and that's what they're learning us to do here.
A Salford GP has appeared in court after holding up a bridge in London during an Extinction Rebellion protest.
We as health professionals thought we really should use this opportunity to really bring the message home about the health impacts of climate change.
I'm here at the New Oxford with yet another big England game on the horizon. I'll be back later with more.
Helping homeless people in the city.
And this comes after new figures were released on homeless deaths in Salford. So what did these figures show?
Hello, yes, so that's right. So firstly, I spoke to Stuart Potts, who works for Saving People Shelter in Eccles, and he told me how he's been helping people by giving them a free home.
I set up a project in about 2016-17 to help homeless people. At first was commandeering buildings, basically squatting them, because there was a gap in the system where people was falling through the net.
So what do these figures show?
So these figures from the Office for National Statistics show that 22 homeless people have died in Salford over the past 5 years. The ONS estimates that 2 of those happened in the last 12 months. Across the northwest as a whole, there have been an estimated 588 deaths of homeless people, making it the worst area in the country outside of London. A spokesperson from the Department for Levelling Up, Housing and Communities said that good progress has been made towards tackling rough sleeping, but the homeless charity Shelter said that the government promised to end rough sleeping, but things are only getting worse, not better. And the charity say they are looking at one of the toughest winters yet. So, as figures like I suggested before, more needs to be done.
Thank you for that, Adam.
A drug rehabilitation centre has been helping people in Salford get back on their feet for over 10 years.
The community feeling at Thomas House is so strong that ex-resident Jason has returned to volunteer and pass on his knowledge to recovering addicts. Lois James has more.
Yeah, that's Amber. Hello. And we've got another one, the ginger one called Giggsy.
Amber, Giggsy and Joe are all staying at Thomas House, a residential rehabilitation centre providing support for alcohol and drug addictions in Salford.
The programme is really challenging. We're based on dynamic intelligence learning, so that's challenging people's ways of behaving and a lot of their thought processes. And if you've done something the same way for years and that's worked for you because it's enabled you to feed your habit, to then be challenged to change those ways, it can be really challenging.
Oh, I was loving this one's pond as well.
Joe shows me the gardening that the residents have done today.
We've got pumpkins, we've got courgettes, we've got a big courgette in the fridge.
He is a returning resident. He went 2 years before relapsing again and is grateful for the ongoing support he's received from Thomas House.
Doing this stuff, the 12-step programme, when you stop working it and helping other addicts, and when you fall away from it all in the meetings and stuff, you end up, you're thinking you're on your own and you think you can, that old thinking comes in that you think you can get away with having a drink or something or whatever. And when you do it, it just releases your addiction again and you're away again.
We work on the premise that addiction is a disease and it's a relapsable condition, so people will relapse, but if we can give them enough knowledge and enough understanding and support them to look at why are they drinking, what triggers it, and I guess backtrack to I'm starting to struggle, so talk about it and tell people and don't leave it until you've picked up to ask for help.
See, the last time I was in that, and I thought I was ready, you see. I wasn't. When I look back, I wasn't ready. The hard part is staying clean, maintaining it, and that's what they're learning us to do here.
When I left, I think I went home for a week, and then I started coming back here, like I said I would.
Jason's time has finished at Thomas House, but he still returns every week to help out and peer mentor new residents.
The peers come in and just reassure them that, however you're feeling, this is normal, and quite often that peer support is taken very differently to the staff support, because they can see that most of the staff have got lived experience, so they're excellent role models, but they're further removed from the active addiction than their peers.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it. Gives me purpose, and I like helping people.
It's almost like it's a little nucleus of support for people, and they come back and just get that support that they need.
It just feels like coming home. It's like a second home. Everyone's like family.
If you're recently retired and have lots of free time on your hands, instead of taking up knitting or spending more time with the kids, why not take up activism?
A retired Salford GP has done exactly that and was arrested in April for blocking Lambeth Bridge as part of an Extinction Rebellion protest. Last week he appeared in court, and Sam Taylor went to find out more.
Yeah, it's not nice. You're locked up in a cell without any windows, and you're lying there wondering, what are you doing? And it's a time of self-reflection about, what is this?
When this Salford GP retired from Ordsall Health Clinic in March, he didn't book a holiday or have a party. Instead, he was arrested for breaking a Section 14 public order.
This is non-violent, because it's non-violent direct action that Extinction Rebellion says. So I've been involved with Extinction Rebellion, and particularly Doctors for Extinction Rebellion, for a number of years now. So we were part of the main march at Lambeth Bridge, and we were there for a while, and then eventually the rest of the group decided to leave. We as health professionals thought we really should use this opportunity to really bring the message home about the health impacts of climate change. So we felt there was a unique opportunity for us to get through that this is a health issue and we need to stop financing fossil fuels.
Dr McKelvey was arrested along with 6 of his colleagues. If they were found guilty, they would each be faced with a £2,500 fine and potentially the loss of their medical licences. But last Tuesday, they all appeared at London Magistrates Court to make their case to the judge.
They were waiting while the judge went out and he was deliberating his case, and we weren't quite sure what way to go. So he came back and said that he, in his view, the way that the police had instituted the Section 14 was inappropriate, wasn't following the proper procedures. So he said that there was no case to answer because we were acquitted.
How did it feel when the court handed down the verdict that you weren't guilty?
So it was a relief, huge relief, I have to say. Yeah, I didn't have to pay a fine, and also I don't have to, I did tell the General Medical Council about my case, and I was able to inform them that I've now been released.
He may have retired as a GP after 17 years, but Dr McKelvey has no plans to stop protesting and is already getting involved in protecting Salford's climate, which luckily doesn't include blocking Irwell Bridge.
I'm still doing a role at Greater Manchester, trying to improve, working a day a week in that, trying to improve sustainability in general practice, trying to reduce the environmental impact of our GP practices. But the really great thing, so Salford is a great place for community networks, and I think that's number one, is to keep working. So relationships is really important.
Sam Taylor, Salford Now.
The World Cup continues today, and it's England's final group stage game against Wales.
Pubs around the country are sure to be full of people watching the game. Our reporter Kai Smith is in the new Oxford pub off Chapel Street to see what the atmosphere is like in Salford before the game.
I'm here at the new Oxford pub with England versus Wales just hours away. The Netherlands are 2-0 up against Qatar behind us, but full focus is on tonight's grudge match in a rivalry that's gone back over 140 years. A point for England will definitely secure their place in the round of 16 at this year's World Cup, while Wales need to win to give themselves any hope of progressing. However, a win for Wales, a 1-0 win, will do if Iran and the USA draw. and this will send them through to the knockout stages for the second time in their history. I'm here with Will, who's a customer at the New Oxford, who's going to be watching the game tonight. Will, are you looking forward to the game?
Certainly am.
Yep.
Yeah. I hope he puts a strong team out.
Strong team. And what you thought of the tournament so far? There's been some surprises so far, definitely.
Definitely has been some surprises, some big wins for underrated teams that should never have won. Big teams are not performing.
Does this worry you for tonight? Because obviously Wales are the minnows in this game.
Not really. I think we should be beating these. If we don't, we need to change a manager.
How far can England go? Because we saw at the Euros we got all the way to the final. Last World Cup we got to the semi-finals. Do you think this is England's year finally?
It's hard to say at this moment because he looked good against Iran, but they underperformed against the USA. So I think it's his tactics at the moment. He needs to really be sorting himself out. He doesn't seem to be able to break teams down. When they sit back, it's not there. So,
are you hoping for any players to play tonight? Phil Foden looks to be starting.
Yeah, definitely Phil Foden. He's got to play. He's one of the most talented players in the Premiership at the moment. So, yeah, they've got to play.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And finally, the big question. What is your score prediction for tonight?
3-1.
3-1. Any goal scorers?
Phil Foden.
Phil Foden with all three?
No. Sterling. And hopefully Harry Kane.
So that is today's. That's the prediction from Will. We'll be finding out later if Will's prediction is right. Hopefully it is. So come on, Three Lions. Let's bring home the 3 points.
Thank you, Kai. While there's no doubt about the excitement surrounding tonight's match, there can be a darker side that goes with the huge sporting events. Incidents of domestic abuse have been found to increase dramatically during England games. Across England and Wales, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men will experience domestic abuse in their lives. It's not difficult to think of 4 women or 4 men that you know. It could be your sister, your brother, your mum or your dad. Each year, a staggering 2 million people will suffer from some form of domestic abuse in the UK. Latest figures have revealed that regardless of the result, domestic abuse rises every time England play. 26% when they win or draw, and 38% when they lose. Over the festive period, it is thought that 15,000 children are going to be exposed to it. The message for domestic abusers from the Crown Prosecution Service is clear. There is no excuse for domestic abuse. There is no hiding behind football as such a reason for such a cowardly and cruel abuse, and we are determined to see dangerous abusers prosecuted.
A grieving widow has thanked a walking group in Salford for saving her life. Audrey has recently been experiencing anxiety and suicidal thoughts, but the friends and nature have given her a reason to leave the house. Our reporter, Neve McDermott, went for a walk and talk.
Millie, high five. Callie. And I believe that everybody should have a second chance. I have been close to taking my own life quite a few times over the last year and a half. And every day is a special day now for me. I'm even looking forward to Christmas.
Christmas is a time for family, friends and loved ones, but for those that have lost someone special, it can be very difficult. Audrey Owen is a retired and grieving widow who lost multiple family members over the last 18 months.
After my late husband passed away a year and a half ago, my sister-in-law passed away 3 days before him, and my brother died, my younger brother died last July, committed suicide. My late husband, I'm sure, would be looking down on me, saying, go, get on with your life.
Yeah.
He had cancer and unfortunately he wanted to die at home, but he didn't die at home, he died in hospital. Mm-hmm. And my husband was everything to me, he was my soulmate. Everything. And it's really hard without him.
Yeah. Audrey has been attending Walk and Talk for a few weeks. The bi-weekly meetups give her a reason to leave the house. They were set up by friends Claire and Jenny, and anybody can join.
Well, we'd heard from a lot of people in the community that they would like to go on more walks, but either they struggle to find the motivation. I know a lot of people have had a lot of social isolation during the pandemic, because you wouldn't think it as somebody who runs a wellbeing service, but I have struggled quite badly with social anxiety in the past. It's just a chance for people to meet up and have a chat.
The group meet twice a week on Mondays and Fridays from 12 to 1. They are often accompanied by their furry friend Betsy. Betsy is their moral support dog who helps people feel more comfortable and is a great icebreaker for newcomers. Betsy and Jenny both play a role in helping keep Audrey's memories of her husband alive with a simple walk and a talk.
I think about him every day, every night. What he would think. He was such a good person. He would help everybody and anybody. And I just wanted to see if I could really carry on where he left off. I always believe in leaving people better off than what you found them and making a disaster into a laughter.
Yeah.
So that's the way I cope with things.
I would definitely say that getting out in nature, the breath of fresh air, it helps so much.
Absolutely. I love going on a walk. Where I live in my town, there's this beautiful river. It helps me massively.
I would say as well, even just being by water, outside, the beach, that's my place to be.
Absolutely, I entirely agree with you on that.
Although maybe not at this time of year, I would have to say, sea in winter, not my thing.
No, I can't. I'm very much a summer girl. I can't deal with this cold weather.
I would just say going out in the walk, that's all I need. Now, let's have a bit of a natter about knitting. As we mentioned earlier, one retiree has taken up activism as a hobby, but some people have decided to play it a bit safer.
Over 100 women have knitted and donated 8,000 baby clothes, blankets and toys to families on the Valley Estate in Swinton.
Reporter Georgia Lynch went to find out how these essential items are made and donated.
I guess Santa and his elves are real. That is, if the big man is a woman with brown hair and glasses, and the helpers are older ladies in a knit and natter group. Either way, they're helping kids by crocheting them toys, blankets and clothes to receive on the special day.
Today I am making a giraffe in a amigurumi puzzle crochet pattern, basically, and they're just toys for children. So we've got your official hygienic, child-safe stuff in and so on, and yeah, so basically they'll be donated to Salvation Now because that's where we are at the moment, and they will either sell them on at craft fairs and so on, or they give them to children in the local areas and things.
The campaign was started by Val Hogan as she noticed families struggling during COVID and now the cost of living crisis, so wanted to lend them a helping hand.
The campaign that I've done now with the knitting for babies to help mums in winter is because we've got the cost of living crisis. We've got enough knitted toys that are with charities, and yet these ladies love knitting toys. So then I thought to myself, rather than being here or in a cupboard, why don't we just donate them to the ladies on the estate? And if anybody's struggling for Christmas presents, then they could take couple of these toys, wrap them up as if they come from Father Christmas and give them to the grandchildren. So that saves the money that they would have spent on Christmas presents, can now go on the gas and electric and the food. So if you go to any store, you're going to have to pay £8 for that.
Yeah.
And mums don't have £8.
No.
You know, £8 is the difference between putting food on the table or the heating on.
With retail items undergoing a massive increase, making baby items such as hats, clothes and toys more expensive. Parents on the Valley Estate in Swinton have the opportunity to go to their local community centre to collect essential items.
Here's one that catches everyone's eye, this one, and a little hat to match.
And Anne Pinky, who lives on the Valley Estate, as well as managing the centre, can appreciate the great support that this brings to families.
I had 4 children, and I can tell you this, if someone knocked on my door knowing that I had all that knitting and they were bringing it to me, I would have been absolutely delighted to say I would love it. And because to get all those lovely knitted things would be just a great load off my mind.
So, As Christmas approaches, Santa's little helpers are packing up their sacks full of items that will keep children warm and happy this winter.
That's all for today's programme. Goodbye.